Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prog Connection. Today we're doing a little bit of a different video. We're doing a reaction video to an album that Phil is considering for his 1970 top Prog albums list. And we decided that we would all get together and see about doing a reaction video to this very, very album. And I guess we'll see if it's Prog. Have anything to say, Phil and Dad, before we start?
You can go first if you want.
I haven't listened to very much Barclay James Harvest at all, just a little bit here and there. And
Yeah.
Well,
so I don't really know a lot about him, so I don't know what to expect.
yeah. And as for me with Barclay James Harvest, the only album I've actually listened to in its entirety is Time Honored Ghosts from 1975. And outside of that, I've heard like a couple songs here and there from other albums. Just a handful, nothing major. What I've heard, I've enjoyed. But I know nothing about this album. This is their 1970 debut album. And I wouldn't say I'm considering it yet. It depends on how good it is. And there's still some other albums I need to listen to.
All right. I think...
So,
with that, I think we can basically just start. Phil, you got the con.
Let's come on and get together, like the sky gets to the sea. Just taking some time off.
already in on the drums.
Just taking some time off.
A lot of poor timing there.
Yeah. I like what the guitars are doing. The guitar tone sucks.
Yeah. It's a lot like Guess Who? Or yeah.
Yeah, so it's psychedelic.
Yeah.
It's like American Woman.
Yeah.
I'd say this fits with the a mix of like the pre-King Crimson side of Prog, or the pre-King Crimson Prog mixed with the more like psychedelic sound.
Dope smoking psychedelia.
The bass is killer. Ooh, a guitar tone that's not garbage.
Typical of 70s psychedelic rock, though.
Yeah.
Animals comes to mind.
Actually, that tone of that like reverbed out guitar kind of reminds me a little bit of like Bob Welch era Fleetwood Mac.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, still the psychedelic stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so that first song, I don't think it was bad. I do think that it was kind of poorly recorded.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know how prog that is. That sounded a lot like the Guess Who, rather than an actual prog band. It's interesting because that song also features James Litherland, who was the founding member of Colosseum. So that's interesting, and I believe that's the only song he features on. Kind of sad because that's the first time actually hearing this guitarist, and it's on a song that reminds me a lot of Steppenwolf and the Guess Who.
It's got
you also have to remember, like, yeah, it's not like traditional progressive rock as we know it, but this is also 1970.
True.
Like Prog was still forming. So the recording of that track was not very good, and I'm guessing that this album was not made with any kind of budget.
Probably not.
So I'm not expecting anything, especially like it's their debut album. I'm not going to hold too much of this against them, but yeah, besides the recording, I did not like the guitar tones for the most part, with the exception of that, like I said, the Bob Welch kind of reverbed out tone that showed up toward the end. I liked that. However, what they were playing was for the most part pretty good, and the vocal melodies, honestly, I could see being an earworm.
Yes, good song.
I thought it was very trippy, Zoli.
Yes, I mean, again,
It's
it
like
was psychedelic rock.
dope smoking blues based psychedelia. Right.
Yeah, again, it reminded me a lot of Steppenwolf and the Guess Who. Not traditionally prog in the slightest.
All right, well,
Let's
get
see
started.
the rest of the album, because one song is not indicative of the album.
All right, this next song is called Mother Dear.
This is not Styx. We're not on Equinox. Stop.
Much closer already.
This is what I know about Barclay James Harvest. This sounds familiar.
Dear, what a night this has been. I awoke in the light of a vision in white. The prettiest girl that I have ever seen.
I think I like this guy's voice a little bit better.
Oh, what this could mean, oh, mother dear. Was it just another in the night?
I love this orchestra.
On that
Really good.
Same sullen night, saw a figure in black.
Yep, Robert
by
Godfrey.
the lady in white.
Brought him up earlier. He's the
Was
Enid.
deaf, was he right?
Sort of moving into moody blues territory.
Yeah,
I picked that up, yeah.
very pretty. I like this.
Just another dream. In the night.
Really, I think that this track was on the compilation that we have.
It may have been, yeah.
I've heard it before.
I feel like I've heard this one too. So I definitely know a song similar to that, and I know it's off of the next album called Once Again, and it's Mockingbird. And I think that that's a stellar track, and I think that that one's also very stellar. That one's a little bit more of like a symphonic folk rock tune, which is what I know Barclay James Harvest for more. And that one was stellar. That's a great track.
Yeah.
Again, a little bit more prog. I would label this more within like the prog folk area rather than crossover so far. Just blatantly disagreeing with Prog Archives there.
Well, you've said yourself that the crossover prog label does sometimes seem to be like a
The
catch-all.
ultimate umbrella term.
Yeah, I mean, like, just a list of prog bands that I know off the top of my head that are labeled crossover
Mike
prog.
Oldfield, Steven Wilson, Big Big Train, if I'm not mistaken, It Bites, Saga.
Yeah. Just to add on to that, the Deer
Please.
Hunter and I'm pretty sure Coheed and Cambria
What?
are also considered crossover prog.
Those are two wild additions to that category. I don't know about Deer Hunter enough. I've only heard a little bit. From what I've heard, they're a little bit more complicated. They're a little bit more, from what I've heard, a little bit more on the math rock side of things.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it.
Crossover for...
Yep, crossover prog, Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah.
All right, with that out of the way, let's get started
on to
on
the next one, yeah.
The Sun Will Never Shine.
Yeah.
There's the keyboards. There's the Mellotron. Yeah, this fits right in with like Procol Harum.
Yeah, this does. Yeah.
Took away the sun, and with it took the fun.
Hell, I couldn't even put this up like maybe you're right up against something like White Mountain.
Yeah, I can hear that.
So I look outside my window.
Hell, I can hear where Trespass gets a little bit of, maybe a little bit of its flavor.
The sun will come again. The sun will never shine.
Whoa! Good song, but I feel like there's timing and tuning errors.
I'm not sure if that was supposed to be in major or minor.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounded a little flat to me.
Long ago, the people that I know were glad.
I think the songs are good on this album, maybe other than Taking Some Time On, which I found a little less my speed, but still good. Biggest issue seems to be recording.
To make them forget the happy.
Yeah, this is not a very well recorded album.
No.
Look outside the window.
I mean, it's not that out of place for 1970.
No.
I mean, I would say that this is probably about as well recorded as maybe Trespass was, at least with the original release.
I would say that's potential, yeah. I would say the band as a whole was a little bit tighter, but the one weak point was the drumming.
Yeah, I'm talking specifically the recording, not the performance of the band.
I think the performance of the band is also not as tight as Genesis, but they're pretty good. It's
Yeah.
a debut album, I'm not expecting perfection.
Yeah, of course not. Okay, I think that that part where you're not supposed to, where I can't tell whether it's C major or C minor, I think that might be intentional.
It might be intentional, I don't know how much I love it.
Same.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's... Oh god, that guitar is terrible though.
Yeah, most of the electric guitars, it seems like their tones are not very good.
I do think that ending note was really good, but I do think that doing the harmony on either, I think it might be a flat note of some sort, just sharp flat or something. I need to do music theory a little bit more, but all I know is that it sounded off.
I don't know whether it was off intentionally or not. It was definitely a flat. Like I said, I couldn't tell whether it was supposed to be a major or a minor.
Me
and
neither.
They accidentally made it minor if it wasn't supposed to be major, but I don't know. They did it again the exact same way, so that leads me to believe it was intentional.
Me too, and that leads me to think that it's not my favorite choice.
Maybe it would be better if the guitar tones didn't suck so bad.
Yeah. I'll say this. For the most
part, I'm not gonna bash them for the guitar tones.
No.
This is 1970. This is a brand new band at this point. They probably have their budget probably consists of $20, a pack of chewing gum, and a Subway sandwich.
Probably. So what I'm saying is basically for a debut, I'm not going to hold it to the exact same standard as most albums in many other refined discographies. What I will do, though, is try to listen for the absolute standouts and see what actually is indicative. Which I would say is something you can do with a Gentle Giant debut, but so far, and tell me, Phil, if you've heard this album yet, but I would say so far, if you want a slightly more sophisticated pop album that with a little bit more prog elements, I would suggest go about a month and a half later and just do the Supertramp debut.
I have not heard that album yet. Most of what I've heard from Supertramp is from the classic, from the 5 albums they released with the classic lineup, from Crime of the Century up to Famous Last Words.
For the most part, I would say that this is a little bit more in the vein of Procol Harum, Moody Blues, with a little bit more of a folk tendency.
I would agree with that. I would say that it earns that side of crossover prog pretty well.
Although I don't see why Procol Harum and Moody Blues are considered crossover. I would probably put them as proto because those are just I would say that those are the 2 definitive protos.
I wouldn't call them proto at all. I would say like I said in my list, Days of Future Past is the first true progressive rock album.
I don't disagree, but the term does exist, and people do generally consider the start of the true prog scene in the Court of the Crimson King, which is why proto-prog is basically...
And those people are wrong.
I don't disagree.
Like I said before in that last video we did, if the Moody Blues is Black Sabbath, then King Crimson is Judas Priest.
Huh. Yeah, okay, I'll take that. All right. Let's, so When the World Was Woken. That's an interesting title for Noim.
I will say that this last song was 5 minutes long, and it
didn't feel that way.
Did not feel like 5 minutes.
Felt like 3. That was a really good song. That's how you can tell it sounds like that. But I'm just going to point this out. When the World Was Woken sounds like some drunk gibberish coming out of Captain Jack Sparrow. Sounds like Jack Sparrow drunken jargon. I guess we'll go.
All right.
Let's
get started. This will be the last song from side 1.
Yes, and I'll officially call it Jack Sparrow drunken jargon.
More organ.
Yeah.
When the world is broken, save all the knowing eyes and thoughts that once were spoken.
Already liking the drums.
Me too. Yeah, this I can also see where a guy like Alan Parsons gets his influence on Alan Parsons Project albums. It's the same thing that I had when I was listening to Manfred Mann's Earth Band.
Yeah, this fits in with Manfred Mann.
That, by extension, Procol Harum and Moody Blues, because I would say all these bands kind of fit in that same area.
Okay, yes.
No, Barclay James Harvest. Defeat.
The orchestra's killer.
It really is. Robert Godfrey killed it. I will say, if you've heard an Enid album, then you'd probably understand Robert Godfrey's level of orchestration. He's good.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting because I can hear a little bit of the Enid in this, even. Especially
This
there.
has not felt like 3 minutes.
No, it hasn't. Another great track, actually. This is supposed to be 6 minutes long. Really good orchestration.
We got the first fade out of the... Yeah, the orchestration was killer.
Yeah, that song had really good orchestration. I think the formatting was good. I think that was probably the best recorded song so far.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Most tight, most concise, and it was probably the best song on the album for me so far, other than maybe the song before that one too, Mother Dear, was fantastic.
Yeah, so far the only one that wasn't, like...
in-your-face brilliance.
Immediately great was just the first track.
Yeah. To me, it's just a little too much of that psychedelic rock. But the rest of this album has been... The first song was not indicative at all.
No, it was not. You know, when I started this, I was a little bit nervous. I was like, okay, is this going to be a waste of time? Did I just suggest something that's going to be a total dud? And then also, was this even something that would be worth considering for a best of 1970s prog list? Yeah. And just the last three, at the end of that first track, that's how I was feeling. These last three tracks have said, no, it was not a waste to the first question, and actually yes to the second one. This might end up on my list.
It could. Let me see what albums I have in my 1970 list, just to be safe, because
the track we just heard was to show you that, you know, that the impact that Days of Future Past had on people, that they really thought.
Oh, absolutely,
very much so. Actually, yes.
Orchestra with a rock band kind of idea was what
exactly.
They thought that was the future, and you know, and. Really, after you get into the middle of the 70s, it's really only Alan Parsons and the Electric Light Orchestra,
right,
that are really doing anything like that.
And
anymore.
Then also Renaissance, they did that up until 1979.
Fair, okay.
Well, yeah, we got 3 songs. One of them is 5 minutes.
And
one of them is under 3 minutes, and then the last one is 12 minutes.
So a fairly short side. We'll probably get this done, and then we'll give our final thoughts before we wrap this up.
All right. So with that, let's get started on Good Love Child. A little bit closer to the first track.
Yeah, already.
Well, at least there's noticeable keyboard on this one.
Back to that phased psychedelic rock guitar tone.
Yeah. At least this time so far, there's been some more noticeable keyboards than that first track.
Mm-hmm. So far, again, though, this is the only song that's even come close to sounding like the first track, so I'm not upset.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I will say this time around, the guitar tone isn't as bad.
It is also funny how the guitar tones haven't been as bad without the guitarist with Coliseum, which is really sad because I've heard a lot of good things about Coliseum. I'm hoping that that's not indicative of the guitarist, more indicative of just the fact that it's an unfamiliar guitarist in an unfamiliar band.
So far, I still like this way more than the first track.
Okay. That
one really went back into the sort of groovy sort of Woodstock type kind of hippie music.
Yeah, that might have been my least favorite song on the entire album so far.
Oh yeah, I was not a big fan of it, but
that was not very good to me.
It was tolerable, but it's just.
I liked it more than the first track. I liked it. It sounded better recorded, and the guitar tones didn't bother me nearly as much.
No,
but
I do think that the other song was a better overall track in terms of a songwriting song. I just think that the other one was a little bit was worse recorded. I think that this is probably my least favorite track in terms of the song overall on this album so far.
I know you probably don't care very much about the
very
lyrics,
repetitive.
But from what I could hear, 60s stoner kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah, it felt
good
like
love child. What is a good love child?
Yeah, that's yeah. Now
I thought of an idea, but I'm not going to say what it is.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so far, our two least favorite tracks are the tracks that open both sides.
Very interesting how that's how it goes. But again, we have 14 and a half minutes left. I'm going to assume
it's also worth noting
side
that
openers are not indicative.
That both of those songs were written by John Lees. And so was Mother Dear, which we all really liked.
Mother Dear was fantastic.
But yeah, the other two songs were written by Willie Wolstenholme and Les Holroyd. This next one was also written. The Iron Maiden was also written by Wolstenholme.
Wolstenholme, yeah.
And then
the last song,
the last track, the
Dark
12
Now
minute,
My
is
Sky.
also written by John Lees. So,
however, it is arranged and conducted by Robert John Godfrey.
So there's hope.
That one is probably going to be the most like the Enid, which, if I know anything, this means that he basically helped with the songwriting of that 12-minute piece. So it should be different than the rest of the album.
Yep, this will be interesting. So far, we've liked.
I'd say well over half of it.
Out of these first 5 tracks, we've liked 3. So we're 3 for 5. And there's still 2 left.
Let's do it.
All right. With that, let's get started on it.
Let's get it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
She walks on through the night. The circumstances slide are only helping her.
This is probably the most Genesis sounding one so far.
And though she feels she's right, she tries with all her might and makes the deepest peril pale. Oh, but she is unreal.
His singing almost sounds
but she doesn't feel.
I want to say either Irish or Scottish.
Those harmonies are fantastic. Deep, lush, more like a choir than it is an actual layered harmony like Yes does. This is a good song.
Yeah. The vocal harmonies here kind of remind me of Floyd.
A little bit, yeah, when they're doing the more like, no, not to me. Actually, I hear a lot of Doobie Brothers.
Yes, that
early
too.
Doobie Brothers, like Cheating the Hangman.
Like, I'm particularly thinking some of the more harmonized tracks on The Wall.
Yeah. My bad. Choked on spit. That was fun. This really does remind me a little bit of like early Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Doobie Brothers is also beautiful. This is one of the reasons why I like this reaction idea that you came up with, was because we can do multiple different genres.
Yeah.
That was gorgeous. So far, I would say either my favorite or second favorite song on the entire album.
I would agree with that. I think my favorite is still When the World Was Woken.
Yeah,
but this
me too.
is really a close second.
Jack Sparrow, Drunken Jargon song.
I would say so far, 6 songs down, and we.
Oh, Phil's frozen.
So leave it that. He looks better that way.
Evil motherfucker. That's awesome.
Really, Dalton, can you hear me?
Now we can. I think you're frozen again. There you go.
We're 6 songs into the 7-track album, and we really liked 4 of them. And the 2 that we didn't like, we didn't hate either.
I would say even the song that I didn't love, I would say it was listenable and tolerable. I would even say Taking Some Time On is an actual good alternative to something like The Guess Who and Steppenwolf, and I would say that that's actually a decent song.
I would say this whole album is worthy of repeat listens, and I can honestly say
absolutely.
that
Mother Dear, The
those
Sun
2
Will Never
songs
Shine.
that we didn't like, I could see those growing on me, especially.
I think only one of them I would skip so far, and that would be Good Love Child.
Yeah. All right. 12 minutes. Dark Now My Sky.
Written by Lees. Arranged by John Godfrey.
All right. Here's the Tiffany.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I will
way to
say
start.
the drumming has been consistently excellent.
It has been.
Don't ask me.
Mel
how
Pritchard
I
has
know.
been pretty good.
But this dark sky will soon be blue. Don't ask.
Well, I know both Holroyd and Wolstenholme. That is a name I'm going to need to practice a lot. Both sing on this.
Yes.
So far, this is at least interesting.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the Shakespearean spoken intro was done by Wooly Woolen Wolstenholme.
Okay.
Interesting. Hell, I'd even say that this is a good way to start a 12-minute track.
I would agree with that.
Kind of like the story of the hare who lost his spectacles. Except for that's
Some
a lot
royal
more goofy.
fanfare horns.
Yeah. Already different from the rest of the album.
Very.
There's the note.
Yep.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Whoa!
This is probably the most like in the chord the Crimson King.
I was almost gonna say metal, like echoes. This is also
Like maybe it's just the guitar tone, but it kind of reminds me of, in a way, of 21st Century Schizoid Man.
I hear a lot of Gilmore guitar tone here. I don't know. That opening was not very well recorded, but I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not. Because that sounded noticeably different from the rest of the album.
I am pretty sure that's just a factor of they still had like no budget, and whatever budget they spent was on the orchestra. Okay, now it'd be time for vocals. There we go.
There we go. Thus quoth the raven, nevermore.
Oh, you'll never know.
Sorry. I couldn't help myself.
No, that was
Sounds so the same.
Yeah.
Alan, what did you do?
I think the problem with the recording is almost exclusively in the guitars.
I don't know, those drums are god-awful. Because you can't tell what's being drummed. One of the most uniquely poorly recorded songs I've heard on an album to date.
You're not wrong.
This is so uniquely poorly recorded. I have no idea how you go from brilliant orchestra to terrible band recording to great vocals to terrible band recording. Woo!
And like the bass is well recorded too.
Yeah. This is a drastically inconsistent song.
If you could, or not even the master, the multi-track. If you could find the multi-track and just clean this shit up.
It almost sounds like the bass and drums were recorded in one room together. Like under one area mic.
I swear to God, it almost sounds like they tried to record the band like you would record a whole orchestra.
Yes! It's... really sad because it's a well-written song overall. It's just... Jesus. It's beautiful. It's just almost unlistenable.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's also so bad recording. Listen to that. I swear. Is this where Alan Parsons got iRobot from now?
We're learning something new here.
Really? Damn. Really good.
Well, I mean, apparently this album was recorded at EMI Studios, which, you know, as you might better know as Abbey Road.
Yeah. Then why does this song sound like shit?
I don't know who Norman Smith is, but he did not do a good job. Oh, he did the first Pink Floyd album. How?
Oh,
How?
no! Oh, and now it sounds good? What? 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 This is the most unique recorded song I've ever heard. For better
Oh
or
my
for
God.
worse.
Jesus fuck.
Oh my god. Oh god. That's a great ending though.
Yeah.
There it is. There's the note. Yeah. Okay. So that was the Barclay James Harvest debut. Anybody want to give closing thoughts?
I am baffled
That's the word. That's
the
best
fact
word.
that an album produced by Norman Smith, like if you've listened to Piper at the Gates of Dawn, I'm not a huge fan of that album at all.
It's a well-recorded album, though. What
it's-
the?
It's a great recorded album. It sounds really good.
Either that must mean that was just not the avenue for this particular recording engineer and producer, or they had the budget
Who the fuck engineered this? Engineered by Phil McDonald. I have no idea who that is, but I'm guessing there's a reason he does not have a Wikipedia page.
I'm supposing that, or they had the freaking budget of $10, a bottle of Gatorade, and a pack of Smarties.
Like, even then, how would you get the fucking... if you had that budget, how would you be able to record at fucking Abbey Road?
I don't know. I do think, for the most part, 5 of the 7 songs were brilliantly written. I think one of the songs was good, and one of them was painfully mid. But for a debut album, only having one song that I can say is painfully mid is an accomplishment.
I agree wholeheartedly. I thoroughly enjoyed that listen, and
the
song that you're talking about, I don't even hate.
No, I don't hate it either.
I think it's at least a 7 out of 10.
Is it a good song in terms of, like, is it the most unique or the most out there song, or even the most, like, is it just
no? It was way
song?
More straightforward and way more like
repetitive.
In the realm of like acid psychedelic rock than it was prog.
I didn't love the repetitive nature of the track, which is why I do prefer the starting track more. But I do think it was better arranged, I think it was better produced, and I think it was better recorded. So overall, even though I think the songwriting was probably the weakest on the album overall, I think that it was still a very listenable track. There was no bad track. There was no unlistenable tune. Unless you're talking about production. And then I would say that last track is probably one of the worst recorded songs I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I said this during the track. It sounded like for a lot of that, it sounded like they were recording the band with the same mic setup that you would record an orchestra.
Yeah, and it's funny how the end drums and symphony sounded fantastic and only the voice sounded good.
Yeah, like the best sounding parts of the band recorded up until like that ending where it actually sounded not garbage
was the vocals.
The vocals and the bass.
Yeah. I would say the drums and guitars were unlistenable. But
up until the end.
Yeah. Again, I actually think that was one of the best.
At the end, that sounded really good.
It was really well written, too. I think that it was well constructed. I think it was well arranged. I think that, for the most part, it was pieced together in a good 12-minute track format. I just think that it was very poorly recorded. As was most of this album.
Yeah, I will say it is probably on par, for the most part, with a lot of like lower budget prog releases of this like very, very early 70s time period.
Mm-hmm. It's really expensive to get it done perfect for that time, right? It's just
I would say though,
really skilled people.
For the most
everybody
part,
in the entire music business was that
you
skilled.
are right. However, I will say this. Yes, did a better job with a high school band. On time and a word. I do think that this was good. I'm not shitting on this at all. I actually think for a debut album, this might be one of the best.
I would agree.
I don't think that this comes too close to the ELP debut or the Supertramp debut, but I think it's in the realm of it's better than the Gentle Giant debut, I think.
I will probably listen to this again in the very near future before we probably 2 or 3 more times before we solidify our lists, and I still have some other albums I need to listen to as well.
Mm-hmm. Dad, is there anything else you would like to is there anything you would like to bookend us off before we sign off?
I mean, I liked this album. it was a very pleasant listen, but it probably will not make my list of 1970. But that's not a criticism. It's just I already know what my list is, and it's just there's better stuff. Just it again. It too much of the album was too much going back to sort of psychedelic 60s and the hippie music for me.
Well, that was 2 songs out of 7.
I would say only 2 of the 7 that exist did that.
Yeah. And then there were still some absolutely brilliant songs like Mother Dear,
Sun
The
Will
Sun
Never
Will
Shine,
Never Shine, When the World Was Woken, and The Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that was
were
a great
all
track.
killer.
Anything else anyone wants to say?
I would say on first listen, I give that 8 out of 10.
I would say on first listen, I'd
Just
also
on
give it about an 8.
Songwriting alone.
Yep, me too. Production, I would give it a 7, or potentially even a 6, so it would probably go down to about a 7.5. Overall rating, I'll give about a 7.5.
I will give it an 8 for now. That may change with future listens.
Right, I agree.
But
I think that this could
I'm
be
very
a new...
glad I did this. I was nervous with that first track, and
me too.
I was totally proven wrong by the second song.
Yeah, me too.
And I just never stopped being proven wrong.
Yep.
Even with the fucking Good Love Child. The audience, if you guys have any albums you might want us to
check out.
No obvious ones that we've all clearly heard before.
Yeah. Unless you're asking for Aqualung, and I will react to that for my first time.
You've never heard Aqualung?
Not in full. I only know 2 songs off of it.
Locomotive Breath and the title track?
Yeah. Duh.
We'll make that happen.
I do think that the one that I would like for all of us to do would be Shaming of the True by Kevin Gilbert, released in 2000. I think that would be a good idea for us to get into more 2000s prog, especially Dad and I. But unless there's anything else...
All right.
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what we should react to next in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.